come out from the past, living in the future I created. Now, own an air minute, I'm in it a G. My NFT drop, you with that energy, stop. At all costs, I will protect funeral line the effect from the blast that I emit. I don't miss. I'm unfolding, niggas. Rise up, king. I'd rather build or destroy.
This episode is brought to you by First Source Title of Florida, where we put you first. I'd like to introduce my guest, Cornell Bunting. Cornell is an amazing guy, amazing friend, author, invents video games and philanthropy.
Yes.
Cornell, good to see you, man.
My brother.
Man, listen, I've had a lot of guests on this show. Cornell, I got to tell you, man, the outfit today, man, the fit is looking smooth, just like you, my man. What's going on?
Hey, you know what I said? I said, you know what? You going to hang out with Mr. Joe Pavich today. You got to look right. So I said, you know, I look in the closet and I said, what's going to work today?
Yeah,
you know
that's
what?
right.
We got to step out with the velvet.
Yeah. You're looking good.
We had to do the velvet, man.
I love it. You know, that's one thing. People don't dress up anymore. Why don't people dress up that much?
I think people getting to that place now where they're just so comfortable and they don't give a flying.
Yeah.
On a lot of what's going on. But, you know, I grew up in England, so, you know, I have this thing where you get up in the morning, you make sure your bed is made, you make sure your teeth's brushed, and you put some proper attire on.
That's
because
right.
you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got clean drawers on and, hey, we good.
Start off the day, man.
Yeah, man.
So let me ask you, do you pick out the outfit the night before, or do you in the morning? Is it a feeling thing?
You know, sometimes. It just all depends on what the event is or what the occasion is. I'll pick it out the night before because of the timing. Because, you know, I like to be wherever I'm going on time. If I don't necessarily care too much for the venue, then I'm like, you know, I'll pull up when I pull up.
Yeah, sure.
But, you know, for those, then I pick out the attire like maybe an hour before I leave,
Sure.
you know. So that's kind of what that looks like. But, you know, whenever I'm leaving, though, like if I'm leaving the country, definitely I gotta put some time in because, you know, in my head I need to pick out what clothes I'm gonna wear this day, what I'm gonna wear the next day. What does that look like? You know, and I want to make sure I'm sure because a lot of times, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
man, you know.
That's right. I know it's crazy because if you do a trip, right, it's like my day is this,
right?
My night is this,
right?
But then I might go here,
right?
So I might need that,
right? Yeah.
But you know. When you got cool clothes like that, man, you can go a pair of jeans.
That's it.
White shirt underneath, the collar. I mean, you can do whatever you want, man.
Oh, yeah. You can do a whole lot. You know, I got to tell you, man, I did a trip, and for some reason, they didn't tell me. Actually, it was Vegas. I didn't think Vegas was going to be cold because I'm thinking, you know, they got the desert.
Yeah, it's got to be hot.
Yeah, you got to have some. Man, it was so cold, bro. I didn't have a tire for it.
Really?
I had to go shopping. It was crazy.
They probably thought you owned the Luxor Hotel or something, or casino. I mean,
you know, I was staying at Caesar, and I had to be funny with it. I'm like, I got to do it. I go up and I said, I had to do the Ellen thing from you know, Hangover. I'm like,
nice.
You know, did Caesar live here?
Nice. That's right, because that's what he said, right? Yeah.
They're looking at me like, is this guy serious?
They didn't get it. I would have laughed. See, I'm a movie guy, man. I would have laughed and I would have said, yes, his family still lives here. Actually, they have the penthouse.
Right. I was like, then why else did they even name the Caesar Palace?
What would you have said if I would have said that to you? I said, they family owns the penthouse.
I was
they
like,
still
for real
here.
Yeah. I probably want to go check them out.
So you inspired me, you know, meeting you and stuff with their books and everything else. You know, that's what I'm doing. I got the whole book thing going.
Yeah, you got a book coming out in a little bit. It's amazing, man.
So the morning routine thing will be in the book.
There you go.
It's about, and it's funny because you said that because it's like if you have so much time in the morning,
right?
You can't be fooling around.
No.
But then again, sometimes I do switch it up a little bit.
Right.
This shirt might be a little bit too much.
Right.
You always have to dress for the occasion, right?
Yeah, you have to.
If you're around people that dress up, you got to dress up.
You got to dress up. You don't want to come. You know, I was at the airport one time. I was with my aunt, and she saw this guy in his PJs. Oh.
Yeah, at the airport. Huh?
She wanted to confront him so bad.
Yeah.
I said, just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. But she was not happy that she saw that, you know.
Yeah.
Like, where's the world going?
That's right. Your parents, were they big on dress up? dressed to impress?
Yeah, you know, my mom was, you know, she was one of those. You remember that show where they did the palm grill with the hair all poof?
Oh, yeah.
My mom was one of those type of lady, man. She was hilarious.
Always
I
dressed.
was like, yeah. And then, you know, my dad, of course, he's old school, so his pants is always over his belly button. Like, I'm like, what are you doing, Dad? That's just crazy. But, you know, he got a style. He got his style.
You do.
Yeah,
Your parents still around?
My dad is still around. My mom passed about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So
sorry about that.
That's all right. You know, she did her thing, and a lot of people loved a lot of her caring ways. You know, she did a good job.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
You tight with your parents?
Yeah. I mean, they live in my house, so.
Sure. How about your dad? You guys tight?
Yeah. We, you know. Well,
I gotta meet your dad.
You know, I gotta tell you, man. My dad. There was a time my dad had a light little situation.
Yeah.
He left his wife for a girl that was like, I don't know, man. She was like 28.
Yeah.
Mad young. I was like, Dad, what's going on, bruh? He felt like she loved him more than his wife. So, you know, he left his wife for a little bit of time there. And he didn't like that I was trying to talk to him about
Keep
that.
it together,
Yeah, so, you know, we had a little fallout for a little bit. But we good.
How old were you at that time?
I was probably about 38.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
what are you, 39 now?
I'm close. I'm closing in on the mid 40s now.
Are you?
Yeah, man. 44
I'll
right
be
now.
50. I'll be 50 in
Look at
a
you,
month,
man. Still looking like you're in your late
Buddy,
30s.
I feel it. I feel like I'm in my 30s, but you know, it's not the case.
You're doing it though. You're doing it.
It's not the case.
It's a beautiful thing, and you got the hair thing going, and you know it's the ladies.
It's actually black, you know. But I dye a little gray to make myself look mature.
Yeah,
I want to look mature. You know what I mean? Cornell.
You got that grown up look.
Throw some salt and pepper in there. You know what I mean?
I like that.
When I was younger, I had one gray hair on the side. And I wanted a couple more just to, you know, because people thought I was too young in real estate because I've been doing real estate for a long time.
Right.
And I said, if I could only just have a little bit of gray hair.
Yeah.
You know, I think I made a wish.
Yeah.
And then they said, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to give you some gray hair.
You know, when I look at you now and I think of, there's a time back, 7-Up had a commercial. Fido Dido at the ear.
Oh, nice.
Like
yeah.
You got that
I
little
got
look.
it. I do. I do got that. Man, that's great.
That was pretty cool. That was a cool commercial.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I like that.
Now, you and your dad, right? So you had a little bit of an issue there, right? You wanted them to stay together, and then your dad was like, I'm the father. Here's what happened, right? Is that kind of what happened, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, you're a dad. You don't really want your son to coach you on, you know, you making decisions on responsible, you know. But, you know, me and him had a company in Jamaica, and, you know, it was just a lot of stuff going on. And I said, you know what, I need to part from that. So I opened a version of the company here in America. That's how I opened the security company, 3P Security.
Yeah.
But that's kind of when, you know, things went crazy because, you know, it was moving fast. It took off fast. You know, I was getting a lot of clients, but I was gaining enemies as well. And so that's how the company got undermined because we had people that was like, you know, there's no way you should be getting all these jobs. And, you know, I had a few things going against me.
And you were, yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Now, was he in the same business or a different business?
So my dad's an electrician by trade.
Okay, got it.
But he saw the opportunity to have a security company in Jamaica, you know, providing security for communities and stuff like that.
So you saw that and you said, I'm going to do it here.
Yeah, I did it. Well, we had a partnership.
Okay.
I was supposed to get 40% of the company. He gets 60. But, you know.
Was he involved in the company much, or are you mostly running it?
Kind of both. You know, he was involved there. Here, it was just me. I didn't have him on the company, and he didn't like that. I was 100%
100% here. Yeah. Sorry, Dad. Dad. Hey, that could be good. You get Jamaica.
Yeah.
And I get.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't collecting none of the money anyways, you know, and so it was one of those things. I said, hey, you just, you know, I don't fight about money, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was one of them things. I just let him do what
he did. Your heart. You just did what you wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
So that's great because when things start to blow up, right? They get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
You're going to get more people.
Right.
And then that, of course, it's hard because you just need people.
Right.
And then quality control probably goes down a little bit, right? Because you can't hire people quickly.
Right.
And you got to get rid of people, and then it's a struggle. What were some of the struggles in that business?
You know, I think for me was because I was accused of not hiring I wasn't diverse enough. They were like, all your guys look healthy. It was like they were saying, you don't hire people that was out of shape. And I'm like, well, I'm in the security business.
Yeah.
I bring someone in. If he has to chase someone, there's a 95% chance he's not going to catch that person. Yeah. And so, but I ended up had to still hire, people that was not really in shape, people that was oversized.
That's
and stuff.
Amazing. So that came up, huh?
Yeah.
It did. Like I got Hulk Hogan, I got Debo. Remember Debo from Friday?
Right.
Debo. He's my security guard. What can I tell you? I mean, I need to throw people out if I need to.
Yeah. I mean, I even had guys that went into the what Dana White's doing.
MMA.
MMA, So I had some solid dudes, man. They make me look good, and a lot of other companies was interested in hiring me to provide security for them. So it was pretty cool.
So like events, things like that?
Clubs, communities, anything that needed physical security, I was about that. Or a place needed cameras because we did the installation as well. Yeah. The network security, what that looked like. So it was pretty cool.
Big events, concerts, celebrities. You deal with some celebrities?
We were getting close, man. We were getting ready, but I needed to do, it was a specific license that I needed to get. Yeah. And, but we were closing in on that.
Were you?
But then I got arrested, so.
Did you?
Yeah.
I want to hear about it. So, hey, man, the Joe Show.
Yeah.
Hey, Cornell, the Joe Show, we dig in, but we pull out the positives, though,
we do, yeah.
So what happened?
The company got undermined with one of the company, and I found this out later, but another company that's a competitor, they paid one of the guys that worked for my company to say I gave him money to go kidnap someone. So basically, I got arrested on 8 counts of conspiracy, 8 counts of soliciting. So I was in jail facing 32 years to life in prison. So I was sitting in
what
there.
Year? So
this happened in 2013.
Okay.
And I sat in 2013 until about the mid 2014. I got out in June of 2014. Okay. But it was rough, man.
Man, 1 year, over a year.
In that year, I lost so much money, man. It was brutal.
I could imagine, man. What's it like? I mean, spending Christmas in jail.
Dude, that was terrible.
I mean, birthdays, right? Because you have kids, right?
Oh, yeah. My boys, because they get to come see me on a Friday on a monitor.
Yeah.
So we talk on the monitor, and then, every time they leave, they would be like, Dad, when are you coming out?
That had to be heartbreaking,
man.
Oh,
yeah, man. Those were the, those hit me hard, man. And just where I was, these guys were so unstable, uneducated, they function in a different realm, bro, because it was things that I never thought humans do.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where like, okay, I'm in this space now, I got to deal with it. So I had to create a shell of myself, of who me, but not, I didn't want me to be in that space, and so I was like, I got to create a shell, and I got to ignore a lot of what I'm seeing right now, because I'm seeing guys have relationship with women that have no idea that they have a relationship with them, and these guys would fight. They would get in fight because this guy is looking at this CEO coming down the aisle, and they have no idea.
Where was this at? Where'd you go to
This
jail?
was in maximum security. I was in maximum security in Fort Myers, downtown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, they put you at the Shawshank. Shawshank Redemption.
Listen, I'm hanging with guys that have 2 life sentence, 3 life sentence. I was talking bad about I'm like, how do you get more than 1 life sentence? And I'm talking to this guy that had 3 life sentences.
Oh, my God.
But I didn't even know he had all these type of things. And I'm like, you got to have done just the unthinkable for them to even add another life sentence on top of the life sentence. So,
and then you're telling them what you did, right? I mean, you almost want to milk your story a little bit. You beat up 30 people at a bar or something.
Actually,
to make it.
you didn't even need to, because all these guys watching there is the news.
Yeah.
So when you go in there, they know what you do when you come in. So you can't even try to beef up your story to look like that guy. If
Big
they know
fight.
you, they know you ain't that guy. They're gonna check you, and they do. They check everyone just to see where they're at.
Yeah.
if you're weak, you're getting beat up. You're getting beat up probably every day, and they take in your canteen because that's how you survive. You spend $50 on a bag of grocery. Mostly chips. and, Snickers and all these things, and I felt bad for a lot of the guys because a lot of them didn't get to enjoy what they got on their commissary. These guys would take them away, but because of how the media painted me. They tarnish my name so much, man. That
it takes a long time to get that back, too.
Oh, it does, man. So
even if it doesn't, it's in your head, right? You don't have the confidence.
Right. But, for me, I think I've developed so much on, who I was, and I knew who I was. So I didn't, no one could take my identity. True. Oh, yeah. And so, with that, when I went there, though, they kind of had a fear for me because they thought I was a dangerous man.
Yeah.
The media made me look like
an animal.
Dude that was going to hurt some people. So they gave me a nickname.
Plus, you're not a little dude either. I mean, you're a big, you're a big guy. Yeah.
They're like, Dread, we here for you, Dread. And I wasn't talking because I was really upset that I was losing a lot of money.
Is that your name?
That's what they called me in there, Dread. So it was one of those things.
Why Dread?
Because they found out I was Jamaican, got that Jamaican going. And
yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, dreadlocks, dread. Yeah. You had to kind of look hard, though. You
well, yeah. I mean, I didn't talk.
Yeah.
I didn't talk. So because I didn't talk, they felt like whoever was to say something to me would be the first person to get punched.
Yeah.
Which in my head, I was kind of feeling like that because I was,
where do you go?
Yeah, it was like, why am I even here? It was, for me, it was surreal. And I was irritated, man. I was like, what kind of system arrests someone for a crime that never happened?
Yeah.
So it was one of those
At least it was a year, though. You know what I mean?
Well,
it could have been a lot worse,
right? Could have
been
a lot worse,
32.
Yeah, man.
It's hard because just knowing you, you were probably in your mind just wondering why you're here, right? Trying to figure it all out. And they think you're quiet because you want to beat someone up, right? But you're probably quiet because you're trying to figure it all out.
Oh, yeah. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
How you make sense of something that didn't make sense? So it was like, make it make sense. And I'm saying, because, when they called me up, when I first appearance, and they're calling out my charges, I sat back down. And the guy said, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I was kind of waiting for them to let me know why I'm here.
Yeah.
The dude was like, they're calling out why you're here.
Yeah.
How? What? I'm like, did I do something that I didn't even realize I did or something? They had me thinking that I did something.
Yeah, you don't even know what all the reasons for. I mean, you probably know of some, but I mean, you got a bunch of charges, right?
Oh man, it was brutal. I'm like, I've got 16 felony charges on my name. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
When did all this happen? It was just...
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, it was wild.
Do you think a lot of people in there are falsely accused?
I don't know if I would say falsely accused. I think there was a lot of people in there that was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Sure.
And then there's people there that they have friends that are doing bad stuff and they're in the space. And so sometimes it just happened that those friends get out of the space. They're still in the space and they don't want to rat on their friends. So they're there and, they're trying to be hard. So they take the fall, and they go, and a lot of them don't have the money to fight for their innocence either. So they just take a 5-year and they call it go up the road. You go up the road and then you come back. But by that time, they're now in the system.
Yeah.
So they come out, they don't know what to do. So they do another small crime and they go back. I was there for a little over 9 months and there was a guy that went in. He came in, bun out. He was back in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
They got him out again. He was back in a month after. This guy came in there while I was there 4 times. I've never understood that. I was like,
that's crazy. Yeah. I mean, just get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
And the COs, they know, They put it on there. No, you'll be back.
Because I think it's pretty likely, right? That you come back in.
Yeah.
Have you met a lot of people in there that you were like, man, I'm surprised this guy's in here because he's well-heeled, they're knowledgeable, they're
Yeah.
They're
well, yeah.
They've learned, right? They've learned their lesson, right?
Well, there was guys in there that was intelligent too. That they were doing
That's what I'm
stuff.
saying. Yeah.
They did stuff that just you didn't think they got caught, but they did, and they had to deal with that. I had a guy in there that was with me that was, when I tell you, this guy was one of those clean guys.
Yeah.
But on the housing side, I don't know. He did some stuff, and I think fraud stuff came down on him, but he begged me, man. He said, man, please protect me in here, man. I can't fight.
Yeah.
He was an older guy, and he said, listen, I give you my chicken, because you get you get one day where you get some food that was somewhat decent, and it was on a Wednesday, and you get chicken, and so a lot of people didn't get to eat their chicken. If you couldn't fight, you're losing your chicken, and then you had people that was like, this guy protects me, so he gets my chicken. So it was one of those things, man. It was wild. It was wild.
Man, that's crazy. So if you let the chicken if you don't eat your chicken, then you ain't that tough, right?
It was one of those. Just put it like this: on a Wednesday, it was only the solid dudes eating chicken.
Yeah.
All the other dudes, they eat everything else but the chicken.
Man.
Because some guys, they get their plate and all they do is they take the chicken off and they go put it on that guy's.
Yeah, right there.
Like they already know what they need to do, so don't even let that dude come take the chicken, bro. Just bring him the chicken.
Man, that's crazy.
That was wild.
Did you have to throw down at all in there?
No. So I had a guy that came in and he wanted to let everyone know he's the dude. He's running the block. But when he came in there, because he was on like 2 life sentence, but when he came in there, because they had already titled me like I'm the dude, without me even saying anything.
Did you want to be the dude?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't care about none of it, because I read every day. I'm in my book. I barely talk to the guys in there. And so this guy came in and they're like, yo, Dredd is the dude. And so he wanted to check me, but he didn't know how to confront me. So what he did was he took my sitting spot. I had a spot that I sit every day. Yeah. So he took that spot, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this dude. Yeah. So I took another spot, and he didn't like that. So he came over, and he started to talk to me. Like he started to talk hard. So right in his talking, I just hit him in the throat. Yeah. Just real quick.
Yeah.
And he lost his, he couldn't catch his breath.
Yeah.
So right in that time, I just hit him up, push him up on the wall. I'm like, listen, man, we don't walk the same path. Man.
Yeah.
We don't walk the same path. It's all good. You do what you do, man.
And that was it.
That was it. It was done.
Yeah.
And he was so embarrassed, bro. He never even went back to my spot. I went, sat in my spot, and he never messed with me.
It's gotta be hard, man. Gotta be a hard thing. Do you ever go back to those places in your mind? You just
man, I really wanted to just forget about that, because there was a lot of guys that were there that I'm like, the system we're in is just terrible. These 2 guys came in and they went to rob this pharmacy. They went into the drive-thru and they wrote on a note, "This is a robber. We have a gun. We need these, I don't know, Percocet, whatever they were trying to get." And they sat in the drive-thru waiting for the drugs.
Yeah.
Come on.
Jeez.
Yeah. And they were mad at the people because the cops came and picked them up. And they're like, I don't understand. I'm like, what are you guys saying right now? This, so it was one of those things where I'm like, oh man, I'm in a cell with a group of guys that they're dumb as box of rocks, man. It was just. They
got those shows on TV, the World's Dumbest Criminals or something like that. You ever seen that show?
I've never really seen that show. But these dudes, man,
they might be in there.
Yeah, they had to be. Yeah, that's just the moves, man. And so with that, once I let go of certain things and I started writing, I would play Monopoly with them. They would always have me play Monopoly with them, and they never understood why I won all the Monopoly games. Because I would just say simple things to them, and before you know it, I have all the properties, and they would hit them. I wouldn't even collect from them. I'm like, you know what, man? Don't even worry about the money. Just give me that property right there. And they would do that because they want to hold on to the money, realizing I'm powering up everything.
Yeah, you got the whole map.
And then now they got to really pay me because they got nothing else to to bargain with, you know. And so it was one of those things where like, man, we don't understand. Dread win all the Monopoly games. And even when they all team up, I still beat all of them.
Dread likes real estate. What can I say? Yeah, you're just taking the deeds, the deeds and the properties.
Man. It was beautiful, man. So
were you? Is that when you started writing?
Yeah.
Because you didn't have any books out at that point, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. Because actually, you know, when I went in, I didn't care for writing. So I used to write in high school. And I had a lot of fun with that. But even now, I even got introduced to that. I was on the soccer team. And this girl, I really liked this girl. She came on the field and she was walk off, and I was just watching her walked off. And I'm like, I need that girl to be my girl.
Yeah.
And so I chased her down, and she said, if you want to talk to me, you have to join the drama club. And so I joined the drama club. And I went into the drama club, and the teacher, she took a liking to me. And she said, you know what, let me see what you can do. And she was like, she described this scene to me, and she said, write it. And I wrote the scene, and she was like, yo, that's impressive. And so she kind of took me under her wing and kind of started teaching me how to write different scenes and stuff.
Nice.
And that's really how I got into like just writing a story.
Yeah.
And then, you know, she surprised me one time and used one of my pieces in a big competition. And we came third. So that was pretty cool, man. So that was really how the writing happened. And then I was writing for the school, you know, and
give me a timeline. So that was...
So this was back in like 95,
okay,
you know, 96,
yeah. So you had a little bit of that artistic mindset, right?
Yeah, from back then. But at the time, you know, I didn't think that authors were... I didn't do enough research on an author to see, like, you know, they actually do live good lives if they get their work out the way, you know. So I didn't go into that. And so when I was done with school, I went into teaching. I was a teacher for Caribbean history. And then I got the offer to be this principal for a school. And so I was doing that. But I was like, I'm not meeting different people every day.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, same kids. And one day I got frustrated with the kids because, you know, they did the midterm exam, half the class passed.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them like, you guys had me standing up here all this time, and you telling me only a half of you guys was listening to me? This is terrible.
Yeah.
So I was upset about that. And so with that, I had told my friend, you know, I said, you know, I feel like I need to find something where I'm meeting people. Because I was young, you know, I was only 17, man, because I graduated early. And so by the time I got to 18, you know, I was, you know, doing all these things in school, and my friend said, hey, man, I got this opportunity with this resort that, you know, I think you should go up there and just, because you smile a lot, and I think they see you smile, they're going to hire you. And he was not lying, man.
Yeah.
That lady hired me on the spot.
Did she really?
Literally, I went in, I was just laughing, and she was like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, I'm just excited for this opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, and she said, when can you start working? I can start working right now. And she made a call. Guy came in and he said, what's your size? And he came, checked my size and everything. And he brought me the uniform. And I start working at 3 o'clock that day. Oh, wow,
nice.
It was hilarious. They were like, we've never done that before.
That's
but it was pretty dope, man. She said, you know, you was like, she's like, you got a nice smile, you got clean teeth. It was hilarious. So, and that job, man, you know, I got it as a bellman, and that just took me to a whole nother level, man.
And where was it at?
It was in Jamaica.
Okay.
At the Crown Plaza, and, you know, I met a lot of celebrities there. Snoop, a couple of different big, you know, Missy when she was doing her thing, yeah.
Superfly.
Oh, yeah. Destiny Child when it was 4 of them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, so, you know, I met some cool people, and I got to go to some big shows. Backstage, you know, got to hang out with Wyclef at one point, Genuine.
Wyclef at the Fugees, man.
Oh, yeah,
the
man.
Fugees?
That was dope.
They were, at one point, they were so good.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody talks about the Fugees anymore.
I know, man. It's like they had that little run, and then I don't know what happened, man, because they had some solid joint. I love the piece, you know, that they redid Lucka here, like Shorty got back.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, and they're hanging in the wolf fat, you know.
Yeah.
That was my jam.
They were
man.
great.
Yeah, man. And
then
Nas,
Fergie was in, not Fergie.
No.
Lauren Hill.
Lauren Hill, yeah.
And then she went off on her own, Lauren Hill.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it was Frad, I can't even pronounce his name right. But Wyclef, Friends, however his name is pronounced, and Lauren Hill.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty cool, man.
You don't hear about them anymore.
No.
Lauren Hill, Wyclef much?
Yeah. I mean, the Wu-Tang came out, and then it was that whole thing with the Wu-Tang. And
they were great, by the way.
Oh, yeah. There's some solid
Triumph.
group.
I'll play it right now. We'll get some background music going.
There you go.
That's great stuff, man.
But yeah,
so Crown Plaza, you were there for a little bit, and then you were what, about 18, 19?
Well, Crown Plaza was there until about 21.
Okay.
And then they sold, and they got me a job in Captive Island at South Seas Resort.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I came to South Seas
Resort. That's what got you here then.
That's how I came to America. Okay. Yeah, man. And
coming to America.
Oh, yeah, man. I came here and I said, hey, you know what? One day I want to become a citizen, open my own business. This dude laughed at me, man. He said, that will never happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Try to shoot your dreams down just like that.
He shot it down. He shot it down, man. He said, I've been here 16 years. None of that happened for me.
Wow.
So that was a motivator for me. And so 11 years later, I became a citizen.
That long?
Oh, yeah.
11 years.
11 years later, man, I became a citizen. And
that's got to be stressful, too, not figuring out if you're going to be here permanently or not, right?
Right. Because, when I was coming, I was just coming and just making money and going back.
Okay.
And they liked me so much, I knew I had job security because they loved the personality. So I know I would go back. I would spend like 3 months in Jamaica. I had all this money because I don't party here. I save all the money up that I have and I go back and, I build a house. And I wanted to make sure I'm solid before I start doing all that other extra stuff, And so with that, man, I had an entourage every time I would go back. It was wild, man.
Yeah,
but I was,
that's great.
Young too, man. But so by the time 2004 came around, I was like, you know what? I think I want to hang out here. And there was this girl that was pressing me, man. Like she really wanted me to give her a chance.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got married.
Yeah.
I got married and
around 04.
Yeah, I got married in 04 and so my two middle boys are from her.
Okay.
And then I became citizen 2011. So because you had to file for the paperwork, but when I tell you, man, that girl teach me a lot, man. I went through some challenges, because I had a lot of girlfriends at the time when she came around, and then she was so serious. I said, you know what, I'm gonna leave all the girls just for her, because I was so impressed with a girl pursuing me.
Yeah.
And then the hurricane happened, Charlie, and then. I couldn't go to her parents because she didn't tell her parents about me. And so I had to go to New York, and I was staying with my cousins up there because they were like, hey, come ride around with us. This is the craziest thing. My cousin had me go up to New York, just ride around with him, and he would give me $1,000 a week just to ride around with him. Didn't even realize that he was like moving weight. Well, he was moving weight. And so, he gave me money every week, and I was like, I could have been in the situation, but
not realizing it. Right?
Not realizing it. I didn't know. So it was fun, and you smoke a lot of weed, man. It was hilarious. And so I had made enough to go back, but while I was there, I called her this one day, bruv, and this dude answered her phone. And he was like, yeah, I'm her boyfriend. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm her husband. And I was like, nah, bruh, that's my girl.
Wow.
That hurt me, bro.
Just like that.
I was crying.
Did you have 2 kids with her or no?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Not at the time yet. And my cousin slapped me so hard. He's like, tighten up, man. What you crying over a girl for, bro? I get you a girl. So he found me this girl in Manhattan. And that was a model that had a clothing store. And she spoiled me, man.
Yeah.
But I had made enough to come back, get my place. Because this was where I had my citizenship pending. So I had to come back down, and they said, you need to go in for the interview. And, man, that was the thing, because I went in for the interview, they denied me. But they didn't tell me they denied me. They said, we're going to send you our decision in the mail.
Yeah.
And I got in the mail, and they said, you know, we weren't convinced enough that you guys were really married. Like, they thought we did a business wedding.
Yeah.
So they said, you know, you need to prove to us that you guys are really married. So because of that, I kind of had to take her back.
Yeah.
But I was furious with her, man. And so I did her wrong, you know. Like, I had a lot of girlfriends when I took her back. And she lived with me because I had to put her name in my condo, in the car, in the bank account, all these things, man. But I didn't like what she did to me. So, you know.
Yeah, you were trying to get her back the whole time.
Oh, yeah. So, but she was devious too, man, you know. So, but it worked out.
Did you have kids with her then?
Yeah. So we end up, so my first son, Cameron, with her, when we went back to do the interview, everything that they told me to do, they looked at none of it. They didn't look at the documents that they wanted for me to prove that it was real.
Yeah.
They looked at my son, gave me my papers.
Yeah, did they really?
I was hilarious.
Yeah.
They just give me my papers and they said, you guys stay married for 3 more years, you can come in for your citizenship. And that's literally what happened. I stayed with her for 3 more years.
Did you really? Yeah.
Got my citizenship, and then as soon as I got my citizenship, I filed for divorce.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, I got citizenship in Tampa. I remember going with my boys.
That's got to be stressful, by the way, going up there for the interview.
Oh, man.
Because, I mean, that's your life.
Bruv.
Either you're going home or you're staying here.
Well,
one
listen,
of the two.
they give you a book with 100 questions, and they tell you, we're only asking you 10 of those questions.
Wow.
So you don't know which 10 you're going to ask.
Yeah,
so you got to know the whole entire 100. You know, so
what kind of questions are on this test?
Man, like, you know, which country did America buy Louisiana from?
Oh, okay.
You
oh,
know,
so you got to get some history.
Yeah. I was solid. It was solid, man.
I don't think most U.S. citizens can answer anything.
I know. Because a lot of people, when you ask them, like, who owned Louisiana before America bought it? A lot of people can't tell
know.
you.
Who is it?
The French.
Okay.
You know, so it was a lot of those type of things, man, and like, you know, the war and you know, when did this war happen, and you know
historian. You got to be a historian.
Yeah, who was the first president? You know, all these different things.
That's easy.
That's
we know a couple of things.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool, man. But you know, I studied that.
Yeah,
I studied that because I didn't want to. Failure was never really in my, and I don't even know if I want to call it failure, man. It's like understanding something didn't work, so you do it another way. But for me, in school they would call me an overachiever because I never want to see B or C on none of my grading paper.
Yeah,
it got to be an A or an A+. That was the type of dude I was.
Yeah.
You know, I was like that, man. So, you know, when it came to the citizenship stuff, I was like, I'm on it.
You got that, no problem.
I needed to know all this stuff, man.
How old are the boys?
Right now, the boys are 21, 18, 16, and 4.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Man.
All right.
Yeah, man. So my 21-year-old, he's an engineer in the Army.
Nice.
So he lives in Germany. So we go over there because he's getting married. He's getting married in April, so we going over there with the whole family.
Congrats.
Celebrate with him, man. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. I told him, don't turn me into a granddad too early, but it's like, you know, Dad, I'm not even going to be able to warn you when that happens.
Is it hard as a father to, when you're an overachiever?
Right.
You know,
Definitely.
Parenting your kids who may get B's and C's, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I tell you, people told me that I was hard on my boys because I had this thing that I would do with them where I fill up my tub with ice. I sit in it myself, and I used to do this because I was, you know, on the soccer team. I did rugby. I used to do mixed martial, so I did a lot of ice bucket stuff, you know. And so I would sit in the ice tub, and they would have to come and sit in there with me until they figure out the problem that they were having a hard time with.
Yeah.
So it helped. It helped because they would figure out a lot of those stuff quick because they didn't want to be in that cold
the ice
water.
That's cold, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. So, but that was one of my I didn't necessarily want to hit my kids because, you know, how we grew up, beating a child does not, it hurts, bro.
Yeah.
It hurts. And our mom, ooh.
Get the shoe.
Oh, man. She hits you with whatever her hand get. It don't matter what it is. I'm like, Mom, this is terrible. You could bust her head open. And she did chop me one time, and it was just, I'm like, you can't be like that, man. And her dad was a cop, so there was a time she picked up the baton. I'm like, I know you're not gonna beat us with this baton.
Yeah.
But yeah, she couldn't run though, so that was our thing. You know,
She get out
she
of the
was
way.
slow, so we
hide
just,
behind the couch.
Oh yeah, we out.
There was a skit Eddie Murphy did. Remember, he said, "Mom would take off her shoe,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a boomerang or a shoe or something like that." Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Our mom was solid like that. She was all about, if you didn't listen to her, you was gonna get a whipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't. We had one brother that had thick skin, so we would push him in front to kind of take the beating first. Because by the time he moves a lot, so by the time my mom swing like 3 different times, she's tired, bruv. So by the time she's done with him, she got no strength to really whip us. So
her accuracy wasn't as good for you, right?
We were strategic with it, and it was hilarious.
Man. So let's talk about the timing. So you had to start having kids. Now, when did you start writing books?
So after I got out of jail, this was in 2014. I didn't want to fight with the system. I figured, I had time because no one want to hire me.
Yeah.
I had all this on my name. And so I wrote a lot of stories from just, different experience as a child growing up. I just created stories from a lot of those moments. So I wrote a lot of books. And then once the case tried in 2015, and I was found not guilty on all 16 counts. And so from there, I said, you know what, I'm going to put out Lion with No Roar because I'm Leo. And I felt like I was a lion that didn't have a voice. I couldn't. So I wrote this kid's story with my story hidden in the story. And I put it out with Author House first. And then it got me some exposure and I got to go to London to do some speaking and sign some books. And Aston Macaulay had a representative there. And they said, we like the work. We would love to republish it and, give you a deal. And that was how I got my first deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So, from there, it just went on to other work. And
the book you gave me.
Yes, sir. Escaping a Life Sentence. So
is that your best? Is that your best book?
Yes, that's the biggest book. That was #1 for over a month. I was doing over 6,000 units a day, every day, and it was just beautiful. Like every day I would go and look on like the Amazon, I would see that I'm still at #1, and it was just beautiful, man. And so I generated a lot from that book because that book highlighted when I was in jail for the 10 months, facing 32 years to life, and when I died. So I died for 16 minutes, about 6 months after my record was expunged in a church. So it highlighted that story, and people were a little fascinated with like, you really went through all this stuff, So that was kind of like the gist of that book,
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, man.
When you write a book, are there still thoughts you wish you would have put in that book?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of times when you write the book, what you want to put in the book sometimes doesn't make it in the book.
Yeah.
Because you got the editors reading it and they're like, okay, I think this would be better, because you want to leave the readers with wanting to know more. You know? So you got to leave stuff for when you do book signing, the questions, all that stuff. So a lot of times, man, a lot of my piece don't make it in the final cut.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because then I do another one, or I do it where this book is gonna have a cliffhanger. So people be like, okay, well, at least we know something else is coming. So
that's what I'm struggling with, because I'm thinking if I put too much here, then I can't do 2. Right?
Well,
and if I do too much here, I can't do it. You don't want to put too much into one, right?
Right. Well, it just all depends on, how you're telling the story and what part of the story you're telling.
Yeah.
Because you want to pick out moments that, really kind of detour your movement, because we're all on a journey. We're in this life, man, and there's a path. And, it just depends on what path you take will determine how your accomplishments goes and, what that look like. A lot of people have taken certain path that have, put them in compromising situations. And, so it's all these different choices, and so even with the book, you choose a few areas, this had happened. I've learned this from this. Because at the end of the day, the reader want to learn something. Well, how can I relate to this book, And
does it help you to get it out?
Oh, yeah.
To get those thoughts out?
Oh, yeah, man. It's therapeutic. For me, like, I would go to the beach at night, like 11, 12 o'clock, just to look at the sky. Lay in the sand with no towel on the sand. Just be one with the earth, man. Just be hanging out. And then, I could have a story hanging out, and then it just floods to me. Like, all I have to do is think about it.
Would you write it down, or would you voice record it or something?
I voice record.
In your phone or something?
There was a time when I would do a lot of write down, but now because of how the phones are done now.
Make it easier,
Yeah,
sure.
it has. I voice it, and then I go and I put it on paper after. So
when you saw your books stacked, what did it feel like?
Oh, man, it was amazing. It was amazing. I'm like, I know all these people going to come. I'm going to sign a copy. And, the other day I was watching a video, man, with this lady crying because she said, I signed a copy of my book for her daughter. Her daughter had just got out of jail, and her daughter was just suicidal and just lost. And she said, when she gave her daughter that book and she read it, her daughter just kind of got her act right, and now her daughter is a nurse.
Yeah.
But she was crying, man, because it was just like, I didn't even charge her, bro.
Hit home.
Yeah. It really hit me because I'm like, these work really do help people, man.
Yeah.
And if, help people from making decisions that, they'll be like, what if I was a part of helping that change, or helping that person find their purpose, So,
well, people look at you today and have no idea that you went through what you did. But I mean, we were joking. Remember last time I saw you? I said, you should write a book.
Right. Yeah.
You did, man. You got 9 of them. You got 9 books, man.
Yeah.
But obviously, some books will do better than others, right?
Right.
Are you going to keep going with books?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've written over 50, so I've I told my son I would write 100 books. So, and I do ghostwrite, so that kind of throw off my books because I've ghostwrite 6 books already. I'm on my 7th book ghostwriting right now, and so it kind of stalls some of my own books.
Yeah.
But anytime I get some time, I do dive into a story that I want to complete, and I had this lady, man, that used to tell on us when we were a kid, like we couldn't do nothing, and her mom didn't find out when she come home. And I always wanted to do a story around that, that lady just, I get it, she kept us in check, but we did not like that lady, man.
Yeah.
And we literally taught my little brother how to box just so she could beat up her grandson.
Yeah.
And I told my brother, I just need you to not call her Steed out. That's it. So she could be angry.
Yeah.
And he did, my brother. We brung Carlos over and we said, you guys gonna box right now. But here's the thing, Carlos, you can't box back, bro. I know you boxing with my brother, but you just gotta let my brother box.
Yeah.
You like a punching bag. I'm sorry.
Cover up yourself.
Yeah. He didn't cover up himself good. So my brother knocked his teeth out, and he told his grandma, and she told her mom. But like I said, we figured out her mom. So we knew punishment wasn't gonna be crazy, but we knew she was coming.
Sure.
So.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
It's gotta be hard though, because you have so many books to just keep doing them, but not completing them as you're going. It's got to be hard because now you're thinking, I got to do this. Your mind, right? Your mind. And then now...
The good thing, though, when you start, at some point you got to finish. So,
yeah. And then now you're on to other crazy things, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well,
with the video games?
Oh, yeah. This book, it was, starting to make some noise. So I'm like, you know what? I need to turn this storyline into a gameplay.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I did that, and I said, you know what? I have some other cool stories. Why not turn some of those stories into gameplay as well? And
we shirts, you got merch.
Oh yeah,
I need a nostril cheese shirt. You know what I mean?
You know what? I should have had one of those when I come, but I got you
because it's a cool logo.
Oh yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool, man. So yeah, people can go on my CornellBunting.com website and click on
get
clothes
some merch.
And get some merch.
Yeah,
man, get you a shirt.
But that's a great game. I hope that thing takes off.
Oh, definitely.
The other day I was taking my boy to school, and somebody said to me, they said, Joe, You take your kid to school every morning. It's a long drive. It's like a half an hour. I said, I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
Because we talk.
We talk. Yeah, and you need that.
Yeah. So he said, Dad, any podcast today? I said, no, but I'm doing one next week.
Yeah.
With my boy Cornell.
Yeah.
And I said, check out the game. So I made him download it.
He said,
oh, this
that's
is cool.
lovely.
This is cool. Yeah, cool game, man.
I love that. Yeah, man, a lot
Nostril
of kids been liking
chase.
it. Nostril cheese
It was
chase.
supposed to be called Cheese Chase at first. Right?
Yes, but we went in and I don't know, man, someone saw the opportunity to buy the cheese chase. So we had to, had the nostril on it.
Yeah. Which sounds better anyway.
Yeah. The App Store wouldn't allow us to just put out cheese chase. So we had to put nostril on it. And, it's getting some reviews and it's been going good. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So what's the next steps from here?
From here, man, we're going to open up the video game company and put out some more of those games. We might bring in an investor on the current game, or we might just sell the game.
Yeah.
So it's good.
To get a game off the ground, how much money?
Oh my goodness.
Just an app.
I had to put in, just for this simple one, about $150,000. And I have games that are, anywhere from 50 to 100 mil because of, the moving parts and the actors you got to bring in and all that stuff, man. It's crazy.
If you have like a cool Italian game, like a cool Italian...
mob stuff.
Mobster.
Yeah.
I'll be the voice.
Yeah,
I'll be the voice.
I love it.
I'll do it for free, Cornell.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that.
No, but it's all good stuff, man. So any new video games coming out?
Yeah. So my latest novel, Cornell the Journeyman, that's like when you think of like an Assassin's Creed or one of those
great
big game God of War.
I'm a gamer.
Okay.
This is good. I play them. I beat God of War. I beat that game. Assassin's Creed. I played until they came out with the pirate ship thing.
Then you were like,
yeah, that's too much. I want to build characters, not pirate ships.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I got to tell you. So when I was in college, I have a bachelor in gaming and simulation programming. But while I was doing that course, I did a research on this game, Grand Theft Auto. And I found out that the guy sold the concept for that video game for $300 million. And I was like, yo, I need to venture into this. You know, I mean, of course, I'm getting a degree, so I need to understand coding and all these things.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. I know write all that stuff. But, when you get to a point where you got so much stuff going on, you bring people in and, I can start it and say, okay, this is where I need this to go. When I bring in like a company, I give them the source code and say, okay, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah. So with this book, Cornell the Journeyman, the plot is really interesting. So, we brought in Penguin to market the book. And Penguin been doing a great job. And it just happened that the guy that's the project manager is friends with Sam Hauser that owns Rockstar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And what game does Rockstar own? Rockstar owned Grand Theft Auto. So it was just kind of crazy how that was what piqued my interest.
Inspired you. Yeah. And then all of a sudden.
And now, so the guy said, hey, I would you mind if I share this plot with Sam?
Yeah.
And he did. And Sam liked the plot. And he said, hey, Sam liked the plot, but I told him you have another game that you're really focusing on right now. So Sam want to see how that do. And then he's probably going to jump in. So that's currently like in the works right now. It's
gotta
we'll
be
see
tough
what
though,
that look like.
You're almost afraid to tell them the idea, right? Because
you don't want.
The next thing you know, they'll have Cornell Bunting, versus the world video game or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. With,
you gotta be careful.
Nowadays, man, people take your stuff. But what I've done, and I've learned this, like I can title like one of my material and then include all these other material in it, and I send it off to Washington to copyright it. And then they'll send me back a certificate with all these different things. Even if someone takes it and they run with it for a while, after a while, when they make enough money, I can go and say, hey.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So
Fortnite was my idea. give me $100 billion.
Yeah.
What's Fortnite worth?
Oh my goodness, they make what, 160 million a month. They're doing it. They're doing it, man. That's probably the That's probably the highest generating video game right now. Yeah. So
well, the kids, you have your kids are in that. They play Fortnite, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, my son.
You played
does.
Fortnite with them?
I did one time, but then I was like, I don't understand how this got so popular.
I don't either.
It's like an open world with you know.
So they get a gift for like their birthday, and they go, "Hey, Dad, can I get Fortnite? Can I get V-Bucks?" You know what I mean?
And I support it because I figured, I'm coming out with my game, so at least the universe will show me back that favor.
Yeah.
Where all these kids ask their parents for something to purchase in my game.
Cheese bucks.
Oh yeah.
Cheese bucks. Hey, that would be good, Cornell.
Oh yeah,
like
man.
on your game instead of V-Bucks, cheese bucks.
Cheese bucks. I like that. It's
man, that's crazy.
Thing.
But it's gotta be hard though because you have so many things that you're kind of good at. I think staying in one lane and getting one to completion, right?
Right.
Completing them has got to be hard, right?
Well, it can be, but one of the things I like about who I am, man, I evaluate myself every 3 months. So every 3 months, something will take precedence. And that's what I focus on. So even though I have all these other things going on, there's something that's leading the way.
That's good.
I needed to do enough to help me because I never had investors.
Yeah.
So what I've done with my own stuff that I put out, anytime they generate enough money, I can take some of that money and invest into my own brand.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that's what I've been doing. That's why the game took so long. It took 4 years. Because I had to, invest little here, invest little there. And
so I wish I could be your investor, man, because these ideas are insane.
Oh, yeah, man. It's wild, man. So, but I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
I'll get there, It's going to be beautiful.
So talk to me about the morning routine of Cornell Bunting.
Listen, the morning routine is crazy. So basically, 4 a.m., I'm up. I do my devotion from 4 to 5. And then there's some days where I have to get on a Skype meeting with the people that work with my product because they're so much hours ahead. 5 a.m. is evening for them. So I get that meeting done in an hour and then I go and do my own stuff on the computer.
Yeah.
So by 8 o'clock I got, most stuff done and then right then I go to the gym and I get a quick 45 minutes to an hour in.
Sure.
And then, I had a physical job, so I would, go to physical job. But now I don't do the physical job, so it's just, more by 10 o'clock I'm done with a lot of the heavy lifting. Yeah. It's easy going after like 11. So, but most times, if I'm working on a book project, by 11, 12, I'm doing some writing, and I'm in that until 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Just writing away. And then, because when I'm writing, I get lost into my writing.
The hours go by.
Yeah. Hours go by without you even realizing it. Then you didn't even eat.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've kind of worked in where I have different time where I'll snack on something.
Are you a coffee drinker?
I used to be. But then now I'm like, more on the tea.
Yeah.
I'm starting to dig the ginger stuff and but I used to like the coffee stuff, man.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
And then like throughout the day, right? I mean, you got a lot going on.
Oh,
busy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what about like your balance? You got the balance?
Yeah. So, there is anytime after 5, 6, I'm hanging out with Juju.
Yeah.
My youngest son and
4.
Yeah. And then my other son that's 16, I tried to talk with him about what's going on with him. There was a time when he had a girlfriend that make all his decisions, and I was like, I'm like, what happened? Like, how did this even happen? Like, and so I was like, I worked on that, but I think life balance got better for me after I got out of jail because before I went to jail, there were moments when they wanted to play with me or like they want to go swim with me in the pool and I'd be trying to write a contract so I wouldn't give them that time.
Sure.
And once I got to jail, it was messing with me because I'm missing and I'm thinking back on those times.
You do anything to be with your kids.
Oh,
right?
yeah. It put things in a perspective. So now, evenings, weekends for the family.
Yeah. Well, it's also maybe not the message you want to give your kids that you went to jail, right? But how you did go there and how you came back a better person.
Oh yeah. I mean, they put things into perspective.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where you know, we live in a world where we have everything in front of us, but because of everything the world throws at us, it distracts us from really seeing all the things that is in front of us.
That's right.
You know, so, you know, for me.
I'm big on that too. Being in the moment.
Yeah.
Not worrying about tomorrow. Worry about today.
Yeah. I mean.
Don't dwell on yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, you can't dwell on yesterday, man.
You can't, man. But you do a good job of that too, man.
Thank you.
Because you spend a lot of time with your kids as well. And
I do. But it's hard too. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, the phone rings and sometimes it's it's annoying.
You know, I got to say though, man, because what I've realized is once your kid get into the teens, you're not really cool with them no more. Like they got friends now that they got to hang out with. So before the teens, man, you got to spend that time with them. Man.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to get much time in as possible because after a while, it's the phone. They text you.
Your 4-year-old is your best friend. You're everything. You're everything to your 4-year-old.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, as you start to get teens, they do start to get girlfriends and stuff. And you don't know anything. You're an idiot.
They come home with a scrunchie on their hand, and you're like, "What are you wearing? What is that?" Oh, my girl say I gotta wear it. So
the kids don't dress up. The 16-year-olds. They go out with like jogging pants on, hoodies and the flip flops and socks. Yeah,
I
get buddy, it. You got 3 pairs of Jordans right here.
Yeah,
that fit me.
Right,
they fit me now.
Yeah.
So he don't wear those Jordans.
Right.
Papa's wearing them Jordans.
Oh, definitely. There you go.
Yeezys and stuff. They like all these cool shoes. They got the shoe trees in them and stuff. Wear those.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're wearing matching. Yeah. We're wearing matching. Pajama pants.
Yeah. You know, I got to tell you, man, my 16-year-old, he give me a vibe like a Zuckerberg vibe.
Yeah.
I could take him shopping and get him all these different clothes. And he just want to be in just some slacks and a T-shirt. And he's not big on the high colors. He's black and white. You know, he's just so simple with it, man.
Yeah.
And he just, I'm like, why do I even get all those other clothes? You should just... And he'll buy like a bunch of stuff, same thing.
Yeah. Is he a big boy?
He's kind of skinny, you know, but he's
tall.
tall. He's tall. Yeah. But he's chill, man. He just, you know, all that extra stuff he doesn't care about. So I like that. I like
kids,
that.
Man.
Yeah, man. So
learn a lot, man.
Yeah.
And you know, do you ever have the parent guilt? Where you don't feel like you're doing enough, or you're doing too much. I'm doing too much with him. I should do more with my daughter.
Right.
And then if I don't, and then my son, I coach him, but then I have to miss a game because I coach him.
Right.
And then they have games on his game night, but I got to be with him. You always feel bad.
I had those conflicts because one of my son was in the wrestling. My other son's on the football team. My other son is on the football team, and I'm like, I know I'm missing someone's game, so it's just we got to rotate.
Yeah.
My son that was in wrestling, we didn't like that too much because, you know, with the old balls in the face and all that stuff, it was like, man, you got to pick a different sports, bro. It was just, and my son, when he started the wrestling, he lost all his games.
Yeah.
And I had to motivate him. I said, listen, the day you win your game, I'm giving you $100. And the day you win this game, I didn't have $100 on me. So, but he was so motivated, you know.
Yeah,
I think he went like 0-8.
Yeah.
I
owe you, Dad.
We gotta turn this around. I can't keep coming to your game and you losing, bro. Like you gotta win something, bro. So
is he still good at wrestling?
No, well, he's done with it now because he's in the army, and you know.
Could he take you?
Possibly.
Yeah.
No,
maybe
now
he
possibly could. Yeah. You know, for me now, man, I don't care for all that.
Yeah.
All that extra stuff. You know, I would never get in an altercation because I don't want to do all that.
That's right.
No.
And love.
Yeah. We just
peace.
love.
Peace and harmony.
That's it, man. It's beautiful.
So how about at night? Can you turn the switch off?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
good, man.
I mean,
not many can. You know, I've had a lot of people in that chair right there.
Yeah.
Not many can turn the switch off at night.
Yeah.
You got to be able to do that.
You got to be able to do that. I mean, with my health, I have to though.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, having a defibrillator and there's a certain time where I have to shut down, and I got to make sure I get at 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
That happened recently, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and I didn't realize that. I didn't realize. I just saw you because you were sending positive messages out there, right?
Yeah.
And then I seen the background. I'm like, my boy's in the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, did you die?
Well, so what happened was the defibrillator that they had installed back in 2016. So the place I work at, the elevators went out.
Yeah.
So I had to go up 15 flights. I had to do some luggage moving.
Where you were staying at, right?
Well, where I was working at.
Oh, okay.
The physical place. And so
they make you do that?
Well, it's a job.
Yeah.
As a bellman, you carry luggage to the rooms.
But you probably treat it as like a little workout too, right?
Yeah. But there was the second day my body was telling me, you doing too much. And I'm going to have to check you. And I'm going to let you know, like, hey. So this day, man, the defibrillator just gave me that vibe that it was going to go
Something's
off.
going on, yeah.
Yeah, and I just kneeled down and I told the people that I was with, I'm like, hey, it might look like I died, but I'm not dead. This going to knock me out.
Yeah.
Because when it kicks you hard.
Yeah.
And so once it started rushing in, it shocked me, and it shocked me so hard it knocked me unconscious. So I was laying there and I hear them, but I can't respond to them. And she was like, what can we do? And I felt bad, but I had to stay there until I come back to, back to myself, And so once that happened, they called the ambulance, they rushed me to the NCH, and, they had to do some procedures, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So they saw, when they went in the artery, they saw there was no blockage. So they were like, you know what, we got to go through the grind. And we got to upgrade this ICU, and so you don't get these type of shocks no more.
Man.
So that was it, man. So that took me off for a while. So now I can't work, and I can't lift anything over 10 pounds until April.
Okay.
So while I'm moving around, it's light work.
Yeah.
I don't do any lifting, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now until getting ready to start. Cardiac rehab.
Okay.
So, and then should be start functioning again, back to regular.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, now I got to watch, how much I do. So I'm not overdo it. Right.
Which is probably hard for you.
Yeah.
Because I think you kind of overdo it.
I do. There's a lot of times.
Keep the big boy down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But, when you feel a certain way, you want to get things done.
That's right.
You need to get it done.
Yeah.
So you're like, what, let me get that.
That's right.
My body now would be like, no, bro, go sleep.
Yeah.
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 Man.
So a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Favorite movie? What's your favorite movie?
I've been digging Denzel lately, man, so I'd probably go with one of his. I like Man on Fire. But I'd probably say, because of all time, it had to be one of Al Pacino's joint.
Yeah.
I would say Scarface.
That's good.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I think they had a new one, didn't they?
Did they?
I think so.
I don't know
Not
if
with
I've seen
him,
it
but
yet.
yeah.
Okay. But
Scarface is great.
Yeah, Scarface, man.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah. And then Godfather, follow behind that.
Yeah. That's good, man.
Yeah.
Going a little Italian on these things,
I love the Italian movies, man. Yeah, man.
A lot of these movies, Untouchables,
I
another
love
good one.
Untouchable, yeah, man. It's good, I like how they, talk about Al Capone. And I was fascinated with the Gatling guns, that thing that sprayed.
Oh, yeah,
man,
yeah.
I'm like, they doing that in the 50s?
Yeah.
So that was pretty dope.
So Al Capone, there was my friend's house in Chicago.
Yeah.
He lived in Al Capone's house. The house that Al Capone had.
What?
He lived there. So when they show old pictures of a house, that's my buddy's house.
Wow,
I've been to his house.
Okay.
And apparently there's a room in the house that's down below, and it's like a little bunker room where nobody knows it's there, but it's there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's in Chicago.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
So you might have to bring me up there one time
man.
just to see
Chi-town.
Yeah, man. You ever tell you a funny story? I've been up there 4 times. And then I learned I was never in Chi-town. Because the girl made me think I was in Chi-town.
Yeah.
My friends were like, "Where'd you go?" I was in Schaumburg.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's not Chicago, bro.
Yeah, that's a suburb.
A suburb,
When you're from Chicago, you say Chicago. I'm from Illinois, right?
Yeah,
but nobody says Illinois.
Right.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Even though I was from a suburb like Schaumburg.
Yeah. Well, it's dope, man.
How about series on TV? You watch series?
I got to tell you, man, I don't know if any actually. So first it was Mad Men. Mad Men was my show.
Good, yeah.
But then Snowfall came out, and that was my show.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, yeah, man.
Good show.
I love Snowfall because, it touches on something that I think a lot of Americans don't necessarily really realize was really going on. Because it's based off things that was actually happening, you know, when they were trying to do this war in Nicaragua, and they was like, yo, we need to get these drug dealers to make this money so we could fund this war. And I was like, what? But, you know, it was just fascinating how they turned these dudes in the hood into big drug dealers and then go back and bust them. Yeah. It was hilarious.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
It's like, let us create some chaos and then try to fix the chaos we created. It was hilarious. So, but, you know, that had turned to be one of my... And then I like The Office as well. I like how they, you know...
That's
the
good.
funny.
You're a movie guy. That's good.
Yeah. I have to. I write stuff. So, you know, I want to...
You get those creative thoughts going.
Yeah, I got to get that juice going because I'm like, okay, how did they write that for those scenes to be the way that is, you know?
You keep a notepad near you, right?
Oh, definitely.
Favorite food?
It's kind of ackee and saltfish right now.
Okay.
With some yam,
nice
dumpling, banana. Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah, man.
Pizza, Italian,
wings.
I mean,
you know, we like the pizza.
I figured you'd say pizza because, you know, you're like part Italian. You know what I mean?
This is true. Well, I do, you know, with the basil.
Yeah.
We like that with the basil, you know, and or marinated.
Yeah.
The marinara.
Marinara.
Yeah.
Marinade.
Yeah.
You ever listen to Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian?
Oh.
Italian comedian?
I've heard him. Yeah. He's funny.
So tell the viewers some words from the wise.
Ooh.
Good thoughts, you know.
Yes. You know.
Inspirational.
Be yourself. You know, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're going to do great today.
Yeah.
Smile because it's very healthy. Find something to laugh about. If you can't find something to laugh about, go listen to a comedian that will say a few things that will make you laugh. But laughing is healthy, and you have to put God first. Well, let me not tell you guys to put God first. I put God first, and then I put my health second. So for, you know, you guys that kind of look at that a certain way, at least put your health first.
Sure.
You know, and just make sure you understand it doesn't matter what room you go into, whoever they're featuring or whatever, understand you're the most important person in that room.
That's great, man.
Yeah,
great
man.
Words from the wise, that's for sure. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir.
You know, really a pleasure today. And I think the message of today is, you know, if you got to find your path, right? Your path was, you know, it was a little bit of a dirt road, but you got back on.
You got back on track.
And you figured out a way to not only become a better person, but to be a better dad, father, to get your thoughts with the book, getting that somewhere, and inspiring people, right?
Yeah.
Because when you were in jail, you never thought you would be inspiring people,
right?
But your story inspired people.
Yep.
And sometimes we base our effect on people based on how many clicks we get on social media, how many followers that we have, but it's more than that.
It is more than that.
So I love great books. I mean, if you haven't read Cornell's books, man,
go check them out.
Great job.
Yeah, man.
Check out tell your kids to get on them video games and check them out. But just a great story today. Now, I'm pleasure to be with you.
Oh yeah, man. This is beautiful.
You know, I haven't known you a long time, but I feel like I have. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. You're a brother, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
And hey,
yes, sir.
About as smooth as they get right there, man. Smoothest guy in the show, I got to tell you. Next time I come to my own show, I might even wear a velvet coat.
Oh, there you go.
Or maybe I got to borrow that coat.
You know what? When you come on my show, we pull out the velvet.
I will wear a velvet coat to your show. To your show.
I love it.
You got to auction off the big author. I mean, that might be worth something,
yes,
right
sir.
there. The velvet coat, with the signature on the inside.
There you go. There you go.
So tell the viewers where they can find you.
Right now, you guys can find me on CornellBunting.com. You can just go to Google, type in Cornell Bunting, and that will give you all the different areas you can go find my show, Stories to Create, or you can go to my website that I help the at-risk youths in underserved community, easinc.org, 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we cater to youths here in Southwest Florida and Jamaica. So it's a beautiful thing.
Well, you can find me on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, social media. Hope you enjoyed the show with my boy Cornell Bunting today, and love to get your feedback on it. And this show is sponsored by First Source Title of Florida, where we put you first. Thanks again. Hope you enjoy.
Beautiful.
Thanks again, man. Yeah, pleasure.
That was
good.
dope.
Good stuff, man.
Oh yeah, man. That was dope.